my little sparkles, I hope you are well. I hope you are finding some peace and quiet today to do some crafting. I am working with the 𝓤𝓮𝓬𝓮 kit Springtime, and I'm using the Coco and Reno Basics nesting dies as well. So I wanted to play with the dies. I love this kit from 𝓤𝓮𝓬𝓮, so match made in heaven. I had a quick look through the shapes and I loved this tag. So I've decided to make a shaker tag. And I'm using it, so I didn't like the way that it wasn't an equal border all the way around if I put it in the middle. So I'm putting it slightly at the top, so it makes sort of a Polaroid type frame, I guess, is how I would describe that. I have some scraps from these 𝓤𝓮𝓬𝓮 papers from when I used them last. So I'm just cutting those with the die. I'm using some washi tape to hold the die in place. I'm using my Gemini Mini cutting machine. I love this die cutter. I got this one from The Works, I think. I'm pretty sure you can find it on eBay and things like that. And I love that it's so teeny tiny, but it fits most of my dies. So I can pop it on my desk, use it, put it away. It takes seconds. And I love things that take seconds to tidy away. Otherwise, they live on my desk forever. I am keeping the middle part of the tags for some other kind of project. I'll just pop them in with the collection. So when I print out all of my printables, I put them into clear popper wallets, and then I've got it all cut out ready to go. So any scraps and the little inside part of the tag will go back in there. Using just the bigger tag die to cut out the backgrounds, I've gone for more kit papers. And then I really want to use some of the 3x4 cards. So the one on the right, you can see it on the right of the screen now, I show it to you in more detail shortly, says spring cleaning, and then it says, oh, I'm on it, and leaving it till next spring, maybe? Putting it off until next year, there you go, there's the card. And I loved it, I love the sentiment on this, it really made me laugh. So I want to find a way to use that part and see all of the text. The easiest way to do that is not to die cut it. It's too, well, not for me to die cut it, and you might find that easier. I found it easier to create the shaker sort of on top of the bit I wanted. Again, momentarily I show you that. But at the moment I'm just making my sequin mix. So I had some already on the side that seemed to match very well. So I've grabbed that, and then I'm adding some Easter sprinkly bits and some blue sequins from my stash. I have all of my sequins in drawers at the back of my desk. If you're interested in how I store my sequins, I have a craft room tour up, which I will link down below for you. My sequin storage has to be the most commented on thing, and I do absolutely love it. So I recommend checking out that video for links and stuff. Just showing you all of the pretty goodies and sequins and sparkly bits inside there. Now I've got some clear acetate. I am adding, some glue, some Nuvo glue, and I'm just sticking that down to the acetate. I'm adding a tiny bit of glue because I'm running this through my sewing machine. So I don't want it to mess up the needle. Not that wet glue usually does if you leave it long enough. Double-sided tape definitely does. It ruins sewing machine needles. Do not use it. But this wet glue is fine, and I'm only using a little bit just to hold it in place while I run it through the machine. I magically come back and it's all stitched in just a moment. So they all fit nicely on this piece of acetate. They disappear and they come back all stitched. Look at that. So I'm just showing you that I've stitched around each one and then cutting around the edge. I find this the easiest way to add the acetate. You could run it through the die cutter and shape it that way, but I just find this easier, especially if I'm going to stitch, because it means I can use the whole sheet for stability when it goes through the machine. Now, the easiest way I found to add the fronts to the backs with the sequins is to use the thin foam tape that I get from Amazon. Cheryl actually recommended these foam tape strips to me, and they were from scrapbook.com, but I found a cheaper version on Amazon that got here quicker, so I gave those a go and I absolutely love them. So I've lined the edge of my shape with those, adding some extra glue onto the edge of the tags. I'm tripping all over my words. And then sequins in the centre and just sticking it on top there, making a little sandwich for the sequins. And that's it. I've got all of them ready to go, full of sequins, and we can grab out our embellishments and get to work on making these super extra with all of the bits from the kit. I already have this pouch of ephemera cut out, so Nelly & Clem actually offer the PNG files for these. So if you have a digital cutting machine, you can get it all cut out for you, which is perfect. I was impatient when I got these, so I have cut these ones by hand, but you can do whichever you prefer. I know some people find fussy cutting really therapeutic. It depends what mood I'm in. I guess if I'm sitting watching a film, it's quite nice to cut things out, but otherwise, I'm just too lazy. I'd rather have my machine do it for me. I'm going through the bits and bobs and just seeing what is about the right size to add to these tags. So had I cut this ephemera specifically for this, I would have scaled it down, but there are plenty of bits that fit nicely, so I've left it as is, used some of this stuff up, and then I'm sure I'll reprint it again. That is the great thing about printables, is that you can just keep using them and using them again and again. I am laying out the bits I want to use on each tag. There you go, just showing you I've got lots more to cut out and use. I do end up cutting out a few extra bits, I believe. I want to make sure that the tag I used, the 3x4 card, the sentiment, I can still see it. So I'm sort of laying out each bit on each card, making them slightly different but pretty similar, so they all match, they're all cohesive. Just working out what bits I want where. I love these Easter eggs, they're so cute. And I love how when you use a kit like this, everything goes together. I don't need to grab things from my stash in all the different colours and work out how to match them or anything. Everything just perfectly works as a team. These little chicks have to be my absolute favourite thing. I use the two on the screen now, and then I think I cut out at least one more. I could have added a chick to every single one of these, but I was trying to stop myself so that I had some variety. Adding the tags on slightly different on this one, and grabbing out foam tape. I love foam tape for embellishments. Well, any kind of layer I love foam tape for. Keeping things flat is really hard for me. I really struggle. Doubling up the foam tape on the edge there that will be sort of hanging over the edge of the tag, the shaker tag, so that it will have enough height to match. And then this one ends up being a really cute flower inspired design. I have got that bloom baby little, I think it's a tulip, it might not be, but it reminds me of a tulip. Adding this hot cross bun on there because I just love it. It was on my desk, I wanted to use it, so it went straight on there. This flower I used previously on something and swapped it out for something else, so I needed to cover the centre. You can see there's sort of some ripped paper on there, but it worked perfectly as a little layering piece for this tulip with the sentiment on it. And I'm just sort of flitting between the different tags, so I think that one's about done. I'm going to grab this one on the left. I love the Easter wishes with the little chick and the little Easter egg. Oh, I've moved on. I'm moving over to the one with the sentiment as the background. Trying to find stuff, like I said, to go sort of behind or to complement the sentiment rather than cover it up, which was harder than I thought, actually. Thought that would be much easier, but I end up with something cute in the end. So I've got that daisy circle and I've got one of the tags as well. Just positioning those. I considered that little heart, it doesn't make it in the end. I consider this little, I want to say pom-pom banner. I think they're little pom-poms. That's what they remind me of. And that does make it. So I add it on the side there and then I cut around them to make sort of a scallop shape. I do go back and make this slightly thinner after I've added it on. But I thought it added something a little bit different. Gives a bit of interest to the side there. And I really love that shape, that little like pom-pom puff ball. type shape. There we go, making that a little bit thinner. Just cutting around it with my scissors. This was probably the hardest one to put together. I don't know why, I always struggle with one. I bet it's because it's the one without a chick. Turns out the chick makes it very easy to embellish things. So, in fact, I think I added chick to that one in the end. I think that's what pulls it all together. On to a different one now. Where are we going? We're going back to the top one. This, I'm adding a flower onto the front. Wasn't in my original design, but it was on the desk and I liked how it looked, so on it goes. I'm using foam tape and a mixture of wet glue and hot glue to put these things together. Oh, apparently I changed which one I wanted it on. Okay, well, looks cute where it ends up. Down there with the pink Easter egg. And then this little chick goes on the right hand side there. This one I want to use the Easter wishes sentiment, but it needs something extra, so I go ahead and stitch underneath the words, which I really like. I think it adds just a little bit of something. Had I thought about it, I would have stitched underneath the bloom baby as well, but I didn't think, and it's stuck down now, so I'm going to have to leave that one as it is. Adding my little chick with some hot glue. I definitely need to cut a bunch of those chicks out. That is probably something I would do as the PNG, so I would make a whole page of just the little chicks and have my machine cut it out. That seems like a good move for me. That might be on my to-do list tomorrow. This one still needs something else and I can't work out what, so I decided to add a dangle because dangles and sequins fix everything. So I've poked a hole in the little top pom-pom there, looking for something else to add. And I think this is when I decide it needs a chick. That's going to fix it. Oh no, I try the watering can first. Trying to bring that bright pink up because I know there's some in the pom-pom on the left and I want to sort of drag it up, drag your eye up to more of that pink. But this little chick poking out is just so adorable. So I pop that on first and then we do still add the watering can and it layers like so. I think it adds a little touch of cuteness to have the chick peeking out there. And I love that the watering can adds that extra pink. I did consider this flower, but something about that gorgeous bright pink, I just needed it on that embellishment. So it ends up looking like this. Let me know which of the four is your favourite. I think my favourite would have to be the Easter Wishes one. I think if I had to choose. But I might package these up as like 2 to a packet, or maybe I could package them individually. I'm not sure. How would you package them? Let me know. Adding some sequins on here with my wet glue. I'm really pleased I found a wet glue that holds the sequins nicely because I used to use the hot glue, but it melts the sequins and I'm always burning my fingers. So it's nice to find an alternative. And actually I end up adding some of the little clay pieces on some of these as well, which are super cute. So I got the little clay pieces from a shop on Etsy, I believe. If you would like the link, let me know in the comments and I'll try and find it for you. But I bought a bunch of little, so there's little bunny heads like I'm sticking down now. There's some little chicks. I use one of those in a while. I've got, not in this mix, but I've got some Easter eggs, some little carrots, all sorts, and they're so adorable. And they really make your sequin mixes just a little bit extra. So I definitely recommend those. There we go, that one's all sequined up. I add sequins to all of these. I'm not sure why I didn't add gems. I think the sequins are on the desk, so why not? And I know they match because they're the ones I've used in the centre of each of the tags. So I will link Nelly and Clem down below for you. I will link this kit specifically. So this is the springtime kit. and I will link the dies that I've used. So these are the Cocoa and Reno nesting dies. I am on both of the design teams, so just full disclosure, I am designing for these guys, but I love their products or I wouldn't recommend them to you. I am nearly done with this last little embellishment, adding on my sequins. There's the little chick I was talking about. I think they're little Fimo clay pieces, sprinkle pieces. Some more sequins, stacking the sequins. I really like those little sequin clusters that people make. I might need to make some of those. And they're sort of like ready-made little sequin clusters to add to things. I wanted to add that green one, but I couldn't find a spot. So this is them all complete. I'll show you them one by one. There we go, there's number 2. There are even little bunny heads in the sequin mix as well, actually. Another little clay piece. This would have to be my favourite. Something about the colours, the pink and the blue and the yellow. Here is the little dangle that I added to this one. So I have wire wrapped some seed beads, and then I've got this cute little daisy charm as well. And you can read the sentiment in there quite well if you shake the sequins out of the way, so I'm pleased with how that turned out. And it was fun to challenge myself to layer in a different way, so layering behind instead of in front. Thanks so much for hanging out and crafting with me. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed the video, and I will be back to craft again with you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye!